Hi everyone and welcome to my morning report analysis videos on Monday the 18th of June with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. We've got a risk-off element to the markets today. We've had the escalation of these trade tariff disputes between the US and China. It's just sort of escalating in the last sort of few days, and over the weekend that seems to continue to be the case, and that's helped to drive markets into a bit of a more corrective state. Certainly the equity markets are sort of dropping away in Europe, and there's more of a safe haven bias now pulling through on forex markets as well. The yen is the outperformer there, and what we've seen is treasury yields dropping back again, and interestingly we've started to see the gold price find a little bit of support, although big sharp moves to the downside on Friday nonetheless, but still a little bit of a bounce on gold today. That sort of safe haven move has been exacerbated by increased political risk in Germany surrounding the continued issues that Angela Merkel has over immigration, and that could move something that could actually end up splitting her government. So subsequently, the euro is hit on the back of that, but primarily the move is being seen through stocks on the German index as well. Now, in terms of how the dollar's moved, well, the dollar sharply gained on Thursday on the back of the ECB, and it's held on to those gains. It hasn't yet unwound those gains, so that's an interesting move. Still there, that resistance on dollar index around 1995.15, which was that November high on dollar index, still is the resistance and still being tested. Now, oil has bounced today, not so much on the WTI, but on Brent crude, as suggestions are that the OPEC decision to increase production levels, which is likely to be taken this week at the OPEC meeting. It could well be lower than perhaps anticipated. Numbers over 1 million barrels per day of increase had been banded around, but it looks like the suggestion of the window of potential is around about 300 to 600,000 barrels. So that's slow. That's lower than expected. Subsequently, we've seen the oil price rallying, certainly on Brent crude. Anyway, but generally speaking, we are sort of risk off without any decisive real move on forex majors, but equities are still seeing the brunt of it, and S&P 500 futures are just under 0.5% lower, so it doesn't look all that great for the open there. Now, what have we got in terms of data today? Not a lot is the answer to that. NAHB Housing Market Index is pretty much the only real thing we've got. We do have a speech by Mario Draghi at the opening of the Central Bankers Forum this afternoon, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that comes out with anything. But yeah, there's a more of an interesting sort of move that we'll see in Sintra as the week goes on, rather than the opening comments today. Now, my chart today is silver, and silver, interestingly, again rallied back towards that big downtrend, hit that downtrend, and then fell away. And look at this, 1616 has been this long sort of 1615, 1616 has been this long sort of area that the market has found a floor in through sort of the opening months of 2018. Other than that slight breach of it back in May, you've seen that floor intact. Now, the big strong bear candle that we saw on Friday is very similar to the moves we've seen on the other false breakouts of January and April, as the market sort of retreated subsequently back towards 1616 again. Look at these RSI levels, similar again, turning over to where they did in April. The stochastic sell signal, sorry, the MACD line sell signal, again 1, 2, not far off a third there. So that would suggest, at the very least, we're back into this range, probably 1685 to 1616. But the chances are is that we're going to be retreating back towards 1616 ultimately as that floor. Now, you've got on the hourly chart where you've got a pivot around 1670, so anything sort of that fails between sort of 1660, 1670, I think looks to be a bit of an unwinding selling opportunity, as these hourly indicators just sort of tick back towards levels which the sort of selling pressure might start to then reinstate. Now, as I said, resistance band 1670, 1660. So that's just overhead now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there in terms of the outlook with the top of that band 1685 broadly, which is an old pivot again. So selling into strength, I think, on the silver price for a retreat back towards 1615 looks to be the inference from the chart moves in the last, certainly the last couple of sessions. So I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you later.